guys, so today I have kind of a review for you for an entire series that I really like, and the series I want to talk about today is the Uglies series by Scott Westerfeld. It is a quartet, means 4 books. The first book is Uglies, the second book is Pretties, the third book is Specials, and the fourth book is Extras. And I have to say I really enjoyed this book series. It was just amazing. It's a dystopia and it is set around Telly Youngblood, who is a 15-year-old teenager and basically lives in a system where everything is dominated by the looks. Either you're ugly, that means you haven't had surgery and your face is not optimized the way it should be in this society, and if you're 16 you get this plastic surgery and become a pretty. So basically you look like this. Maybe I imagine it with slightly larger eyes, and yeah, that's how you look. Your face is symmetric, you have big eyes, you look healthy, you are healthy, and because of your really huge eyes you have those childish looks that everyone wants to protect you and take care of you. And yeah, that's the second kind of type there is in this world. So we, like I said, we have the pretties and we have the normal people who haven't had surgery, the uglies. And in their minds they really think they are ugly until they get the surgery to become pretty. And they also live in different parts of the town. The uglies live in Uglyville, as far as I can remember, and the pretties live in Pretty Town / Crumblyville / New Pretty Town, and their life is dominated by partying and yeah, getting pretty and being dressed up and all of that stuff. And our main protagonist, Telly, is 15 years old and she is still an ugly, and her best friend Paris isn't anymore because he's slightly older than her, and she has to wait 3 months to become a pretty too, and she's actually pretty lonely and pretty desperate and everything sucks without her best friend. And so she sneaks into a new pretty town, although she isn't allowed there, and finds Paris and accidentally crushes the party because she's an ugly at a pretty party, and that's not really good. And trying to get back to her home, she meets this girl, Shay, and Shay's also an ugly, and her birthday is on the same day as Telly's birthday, so they're the same age and they both have to kill time to become pretty. And well, Shay gets Telly in a whole new world of the old world before the pretty regime was established, before everything changed and the ruins of our modern society as we live in today. And Shay tells her about a place called Smoke, where the people go who don't want to become pretties, who want to stay ugly for the rest of their lives. And Shay wants to go there and doesn't want to become pretty anymore. And yeah, that's basically the plot. You should know about the books, and I hope you've all read the book so far. If you don't, then please go now, because I don't want to spoil you, but I try not to get into too much detail. I have to say I was really pleasantly surprised with the first book. I've had it on my TBR for over a year and started reading it just because I was in the mood for it, and I have to say it was just a really great dystopia, and it was really clear. You saw what the author was getting at. I had the feeling with most of the dystopias they were really political, and this dystopia is just not. It's about everything that is wrong in our society, I think, because, you know, pretty people get better jobs, pretty people are always shown in TV, and our society basically tells us this, that if you are not pretty, you just can't make it in life, and that's just not true. It's about the character, not about how you look. It's about the insides, and I think Scott Westerfeld showed us beautifully in this extreme world that it is about the character. Also throughout the development of the books, it is really shown that the looks don't matter, that just who you are matters, and nothing that society wants you to see somebody can change that it is about the person. And furthermore, the series is about us people being careful with our world, to not destroy the nature, the forests, not to manipulate the plants as much, not to use that much electricity, which is kind of sad because right now I have my lighting on because I just would have a bad lighting for filming. That's why mostly I film in front of my other bookshelf, because I'm directly near the window and don't need any lighting. And yeah, just that we shouldn't take for granted what we have in our planet, and that we, I don't know how to say it, that we shouldn't waste our resources, I guess. And that was really great, and I really liked about the series that it was so clear. I also liked the characters a lot, like the message. Obviously I love the message, especially like this manifest at the end, this manifesto at the end of the third book. It was just so amazing, because this wasn't just book related, it was like to all of us, and I really liked that, and I really liked the thought Scott Westerfeld had there. I love the characters. I loved Tally. I really liked her. I mean, she had to do some unpopular things, but in my mind that they weren't her fault. She was kind of pushed into that, and I didn't like how it happened. And at times, like in the first and second book, there were two scenes where I thought, oh my god, girl, you're so stupid. I would have done it completely different. And yeah, I don't know why she has... Really, I was like, she was doing this one thing and I was like, I would have put it somewhere else, like in the river, not in the fire. You probably all know what I mean, because I was actually thinking, maybe if it gets destroyed, that would be not a great thing, and I was right. And in the second book there was another scene that was really similar, where I was like, I would put my hand outside. That would be maybe a great thing to do, or a clever thing to do. But those were the only problems I had with Tally. It was really interesting seeing her develop in the different roles she was given throughout the 3 books. Although I had to say, at the beginning of the second and the third book, it was really hard reading her because of how she changed, and I didn't like it too much, and I didn't like what she became in the third book, but how she overcame it was just like she always does, and I think she's a great character. Shay, on the other hand, I really didn't like her too much. I think in the last book she was okay and I liked her better, but in the first 3 books I just despised her because she was so self-centered and self-focused, and I had the feeling that everything had to be about her, although it wasn't, and everything was Tally's fault, although it wasn't. And yeah, that was kind of a thing that mocked me. David and Zane were both great characters, although I have to say I was probably Team David, because, you know, Zane, I had in mind that Zane would just be temporary, although he was just such a great character and I really liked him, and the way it ended was just so sad, and I would have wished that he had another solution with someone else, but wasn't going to happen. So all in all, I think this quartet is just so amazing. It's one of the most unique dystopian novels I've read like in the past few years, and I'm not kidding here. Reading this quartet, everything else dystopia related became kind of repetitive for me. Like every other dystopian I have read was like the same way it was supposed to happen. Of course the stories were different and was really unique in its own way, but the pattern was just always the same. Like the protagonist is shown that the system is bad. The protagonist is kind of held under circumstances in the second book that don't lead to a revolution, and in the third book there's a revolution, there's a big fight, there's a war, there are armies, and the regime is just destroyed with really big measures. And in this book it was just so different. Like every time something could have been similar, Scott Westerfeld solved it in a just complete another way, and I really liked that. I was like, this is amazing. It may have not been that action-packed than normal dystopia, but it didn't matter for me. I think it was just great the way he did it, and I liked it. And I have to say, I'm going to read something by Scott Westerfeld really soon, because yeah, I really like his writing style. And when I read the first book I was like, oh, I think this is kind of the beginning of a really big love story of me and Scott Westerfeld's books. So yeah, you will probably see more of his books soon on my channel. So that was it, guys. That was kind of unusual review, I guess, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to discuss more in the comments, then feel free to write me a message or whatever. I would be happy to talk a bit more about this series. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs up if you do, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you soon with another video. Goodbye!